right, well, I have 5:30 on my watch. So I'm going to call to order the Select Board of Monday, June 6, 2026. And I see everyone is present and accounted for. Our first agenda item is to go into executive session. But before we take that motion, I just want to make a note that all of the Select Board members received a letter today from Brooks Reed, sorry, Brooks, raising a concern about the executive session, in particular related to Estabrook, and raised a concern about OML and a notice to individuals. And so before we go into executive session, I want to address that issue. And Mina, I'd like you to come up to the table. Any of these mics will work. Just make sure the green light's on, and just address that for the Select Board and anyone else listening.
Sure. Mina Macarius, Anderson and Krieger, Town Council. I've seen the letter as well. The letter refers to a portion of the open meeting law. One of the 10 executive session purposes, the very first one, does require individual notice to an individual whose character or reputation is being discussed in executive session. To be clear, that is not the purpose of the executive session before you. It is to discuss potential enforcement of the court order in the litigation, in the Estabrook litigation, or further action on that matter. So that is why it's not purpose one. Only purpose three, which is what you're going into executive session under, if you declare and if you all vote that way, does not have that same requirement.
Great. Thank you, Mina. I appreciate that, and for the public as well. Thank you. All right. So with that, we'll entertain a motion.
Yeah. So I make a motion that we will move into executive session.
Okay, and I think we have to read the full language that.
So you want to go into executive session under MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the body and the chair so declares.
And I do. You can read the whole thing.
And potential litigation to enforce the order of injunction in connection with the previous litigation concerning public access to Estabrook Road, and executive session under MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A6, to consider the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property if the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body.
And I do.
And real estate under consideration.
All right, and it requires a roll call vote. So if I read the honor. Oh, second. Thank you.
Mr. Banfield?
Yay. Aye.
Mr. Bowman?
Yes.
Ms. Hartman?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
And Mr. McKenna? Aye.
Okay, great. So for the purpose of executive session, Select Board is now going to leave this room and go down to a separate conference room, and then we will be back at around 6:15 to start the open session again. So thank you. All right, it is 6:15, and I'm going to bring to order the Select Board of July 6th, into regular session, starting at 6:15. We usually start our first agenda topic with public comment. Public comment is limited to 15 minutes. We expect about 3 minutes per person. And these are on topics that are not on the agenda this evening. And so if people have an item that's not on the agenda, I ask you to raise your hand. In the audience here, don't see anyone. But we also probably need to do a video check. But we'll start with Miguel. Miguel Echevarri, can you hear us? I see that your hand is raised.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. So thank you, Miguel. We're doing a little video check, so that's helped. I don't believe you can go on video, but we can hear you.
Okay, good. So I'm skirting around the what you just said with regards to an agenda item. It's more that I'm concerned about the overall that you guys will go into an executive session about a matter that, you're still there, right? Because I just lost your feed. Okay, about matters that, taxpayers will have to end up paying if you guys decide to go into any given litigation based on what you decide within those executive sessions. For example, one of the last times you went in there, you guys had greenlit the Rotary litigation. And right there, and there's no accountability as to what is told to you when you make that decision. In that particular case, you had a judge that called the legal advice that the town put forth as misplaced. Now, I just did the bills for that just like a moment ago. I got the invoices, and we spent almost $60,000 so that town council could provide advice to the town in its litigation on the Rotary, and for the judge to come back and say it's misplaced. So I'm just concerned that, there's never any accountability for any of this. You're now talking about the agenda item, about going after Estabrook Woods again, and that cost us $2 million last time. So I'm just, in the future, I kind of wish we would, the public, the people that actually have to pay these bills, that they might have some input on it before you guys go into executive session. One other thing about legal bills too, I got somewhere, the town council charged almost $6,000 to redact some legal invoices that they were not supposed to redact. Now, and they only redacted 6 entries, okay? Yet they charged $6,000. So as you guys move forward, listening to advice from town council and also complaining about the increasing cost of legal fees, I hope that you guys will start looking at what we pay and what the advice is, and kind of maybe just do some checks, some accountability. So thank you very much for letting me talk. Like I said, I know it was kind of skirting around your policy a little bit, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Miguel. I thought I saw Court Booth up earlier. Yeah, no. Yes, Court Booth. You had your hand raised?
Yes, hi, thank you
Hi,
very much. Court Booth, 144 Wright Road. A different subject. I want to take a moment, if you'll bear with me, to express my thanks to the staff at the Minuteman Media and the people behind them, notably town staff and town meeting that provides the necessary funding stream. I believe you know that we have brand new equipment at Townhouse and capacities we've never had before, and I believe that's soon to come, if not already blessing the Goodwin Forum as well with new capabilities. So I want to give a public thank you, if I might, to Julie and Matt and Tori and Arkady. It wasn't long ago that this town took public access TV, took it with a grain of salt, because we knew that frequently the audio was going to be poor, the video was going to be poor, and now we've got superb quality, and now we're taking that for granted. And I want to pause and say, let's not take it for granted. The staff is really doing a stellar job keeping us state-of-the-art. And we've got every reason now to boast that our technology gives people another channel with which to stay involved with town government and participate. So thank you, Select Board, for hearing me out on this. Thank you to Minuteman for making possible what they do for us.
Great, Court. Thank you so much for reminding us. We do have the new equipment in front of us. We all have brand new microphones. We have a brand new, well, not brand new, a screen that's actually working in the Select Board room now. So it's really good. And the quality for all those who are remote should be better, as well as the recordings themselves. So concur with your congratulations to the MMM team. They've done a great job. So thank you.
Thank you.
I do not see any more hands raised, and I don't see anyone in the audience coming to the table, so we will move on to our next agenda item. So that's the consent agenda. Cameron.
Yeah. Did anybody have any comments, anything to?
No comments,
Oh,
no
wow.
edits.
Okay, so then I'm going to make a motion to approve the consent agenda as published.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you. All right, then, Select Board appointments.
Select Board appointments. Motion to approve the Select Board appointment of Beth Williams, Tourism Manager, to fill an ex officio member seat on the Economic Vitality Committee for a term to expire at the conclusion of employment with the Town of Concord.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I have a-
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
I have a question.
Yep.
So if Beth Williams were to move on and we got a placement for her, Would that tourism manager have a seat on the Economic Vitality Committee?
Yes. I mean, I think she would replace, well, go
But
ahead,
that's
Carrie.
not how this
Yeah.
reads.
Well, it says
The
ex
appoint,
officio.
the appointment is of a person in that position. If there is another serving in that capacity, I think it would make sense for that to come back to the board for an appointment of that person.
This reads that it's specific to her, or the way I read it, is
Yeah.
that it expires if Beth were to move on. And I guess,
Should we add in that role, I guess, is
yeah, that's what I'm.
for a term to expire at the conclusion of employment in the tourism manager role?
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
Conclusion
Oh,
of
maybe I
employment.
misinterpreted your question.
Yeah, that would
Okay,
satisfy what I'm
so
getting at.
conclusion of employment with Town of Concord as the tourism manager?
No, it's the
What?
role. It's the
So
role.
Oh,
if she
is-
moves out of the tourism manager job,
Yes.
Right.
then
Whoever
she could take
replaces
another
her.
job within the town.
No,
Right.
I'm saying whoever,
And
what I'm
whoever.
saying is it's
Right.
the tourism manager who should have a seat on the Economic Vitality
Mhm.
Committee.
So I
Not
think
Beth.
in the charge then, the EVC charge, it would make sense to note that one seat
Yep.
is for
Mhm.
the tourism manager.
Okay.
And then you would specifically appoint the person, the select board would appoint the person.
So in other words, we have to appoint that new person,
I think that
as
is the
opposed to rolling
cleanest
over.
thing
and
to
the-
do.
The position
yes.
doesn't roll over. The person has to be appointed.
So does that
So
mean
that
we
means we
need
have to rewrite the charge.
Well, I think you have
I
that
don't know.
under-
No.
I'd have to go back in the charge. I don't know if the charge just says
Does
that.
the charge say Beth, or does it say that?
That's
would-
what I don't know
Yeah.
off the top of my head.
I don't know either, but it would not. It would be very unlikely to name a specific
Yeah.
individual.
Typically, it
Right,
would.
it wouldn't, it would be the role.
Okay, so the charge is saying it's the tourism manager, the
Right.
role, that is
Yeah.
actually,
So-
and now we're saying we want to,
So, yeah, I mean, I still think it's sufficient to say at the conclusion of her employment in the tourism manager role.
I agree with that.
So,
So we're appointing her as the ex officio member.
it
She is
still-
the
it still
tourism
doesn't
manager, as
answer
long
that.
as she's
It's
the
not
tourism
my-
manager.
It still doesn't answer her question.
my
don't know.
question
Right.
is, I thought that we wanted the tourism manager, whoever that is.
Yes.
To be an ex officio member of
Yes.
the, and the way I read this, it sounds like we're saying that until Beth leaves.
Well, once she leaves, we'd have to appoint a new person.
Yeah, but.
Yeah.
Yes.
but
So all
she-
we're doing here is appointing,
But she
Okay.
could stay
Okay.
employed for the town, but
Yeah.
not as town
Yes.
not as a tourism
I
manager.
agree with you, Mary. I'm just saying we would
And
then have
that's-
to appoint the
Okay.
next person. We would have to come back and say, oh, we have a new tourism manager. We're
I
now
get
going
it.
to
I see
appoint
what you're saying. Okay.
he or she
Okay.
to the role.
Yep.
So I still,
I
so
give
right
up.
now, she's tourism manager, but I think the vote would be expire at the conclusion of her employment with the town of Concord as the tourism manager.
Correct.
Okay, but
Yes.
that doesn't say this right now.
Yeah.
So we would
so we're gonna-
add
We're going
as the tourism manager?
to, modify the motion.
Okay. Do
So I'm
you-
going to say a motion to approve the select board appointment of Beth Williams, tourism manager, to fill an ex officio member seat on the Economic Vitality Committee for a term to expire at the conclusion of her employment with the town of Concord as the tourism manager.
Okay,
Is there a second?
second.
Any further discussion? No? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Good, and thank you, Mary. I think it's good to get it.
Clarification.
Good to get it right. Good to make it better.
Okay, great. All right, so moving on in the agenda, our next topic is the discussion of signage at the Estherbrook Trail. And so this is a topic that we deferred from some time ago. We know that the litigation at Estherbrook Trail has been closed, and it's clear that our residents should have access to the trail. And we think it's important that our residents be aware that they have the right to get access to that trail. And I think this is a discussion on what signage might be appropriate that might improve people's awareness to their access at the trail. And I don't have any specific recommendations, Carrie. We talked about this some time ago.
Yeah, Wendy, I think that is a great introduction to the topic. And we are joined this evening by Town Council Meta Macarius and Austin Anderson, and I would invite them to come up to the
Yep.
table, and the board will have a discussion about whether or not it makes sense at this point in time to add some signage again, in accordance with the decision of the court, which I know seems a long ways ago, but as Wendy said, the board from time to time has taken up the issue of signage and not made any definitive decision.
Yeah, thank you. Chair Ravelli, Mina Macarius again from Anderson and Krieger, and with me is my colleague and partner, Austin Anderson. So as Carrie said, the basis for the conversation at this point is that the case has ended some time ago. The public has access to the trail, to the unpaved portions of the road that were in dispute in the case. And there is certainly clarity in that in the case law. Sometimes in the past, in between the different phases of the litigation, there had been discussions of whether to add signage back to remind users of the trail of the right to access, but also of reasonable restrictions on that right and reasonable rules and regulations to follow. So what we would recommend is having revisiting that conversation to make sure that there's clarity on the access rights along the road. So this would be signs put up by the town, and from our perspective, simplicity is best, explaining the end result of where we are with the case, and again, the basic rules to remind folks to be good neighbors and good users of the trail.
Great.
What's the signage history? So there was a sign there is a sign there, like, just briefly, I mean.
Yeah.
So I am going to pass around a copy of signs that a select board, maybe 2 select boards ago, worked on, and I will pass these out to the audience as well. This is the last consensus that the select board had. This was after the land court decision, and while the appeals were still outstanding, and there was not agreement on the other side with this signage, and so this signage was never installed.
Okay. Has there ever been signage there?
I was trying to ask, Ms. Kay may remember differently. I believe many years ago, before the litigation started, there might have been, but I don't recall specifically.
Okay.
But certainly during the litigation, I don't recall that there were signs.
So generally, there hasn't been signs.
For quite a while,
Yeah, that's
as far as I remember.
Yeah.
Nina, where would these signs be installed on the road leading up to the trail?
They would be installed in the right-of-way in the non-discontinued public portion of Estabrook Road before you get to the unpaved portion.
Sorry, we've seen it. We know.
Carrie, are we making these, do we have this available electronically that Kristen could share?
I can do that if you just give me one moment.
Yeah.
How many signs?
So well, I think it's up to you, but I actually would recommend that this is the kind of thing that makes sense to have, to leave in the discretion of the town manager's office and an appropriate staff to make sure they're visible, they're in the right place. But there's certainly nothing in the court decision that requires X number or anything like that. So it would be, I wouldn't say you need more than 1 or 2, but.
And this would be the pair.
So this was this was the
one on
last
left
discussed.
doesn't really apply anymore.
Right.
Yeah, correct.
Not.
When the town manager raises these, this was a proposal from in between the trial court's decision while an appeal was pending. This was a suggestion. Much of what's on the left would still be part of what you would want to assign. The proceed at your own risk and the notice that the road has been discontinued is a portion of explaining that it is not a public way in the same sense as any other town road. But the remaining, as with the maintenance issues, I think the last part of this explains the right to access. But Austin, I don't know if you have anything to add on that.
The last part of the one on the left?
On the left, yeah.
Yes, I think we would recommend both the left and the right. The information on the left is an accurate and important statement of the legal status, that it is not maintained by the town. The town is not keeping the road in a condition for travel, so anybody who is accessing it does so
So
understanding.
is everything on the left still
Still,
applicable?
It is still
Yes.
true, yes, that's
Yes.
right.
it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the rules are important.
I think the rules
Right.
are critical.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones
Yeah,
that,
so-
cause the dust up to begin in
Yeah.
the first place, people not paying attention to the rules.
But I do think it's really important that we let people know that they can go on this road. The
Right.
rules of the road don't really emphasize that, whereas the
They
one on
don't.
the left does
Right.
emphasize that you have a right to
Right.
walk down this road. I think that's clear because we have so many messages saying that we don't have a right, but we do. So I think it's important that we emphasize that.
My personal opinion, Mary, you called it out just almost perfectly, is that the one on the left, although it's stating the case in a very detailed way, it doesn't really capture Mary's thought, which
Right.
is, you have a right to be
access.
here.
Yeah.
You have a right to,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
It's discontinued, we have no obligation to
Yeah.
maintain
Yeah,
it.
it's
It's
not-
a little,
it's-
that's why
It's
it seemed
just-
confusing to me, because
it
this
just
portion of
could-
Estabrook Road has been discontinued as a public way.
Exactly.
I would read that and say, oh, I gotta go home.
I gotta go. Exactly.
But more important, it says proceed at your own risk.
Well, that also scares you, I
That
know.
is true.
Inviting.
Right.
That is true.
I would really like
It's maybe
something
true,
that's pretty
but it's-
clear.
yeah, it shouldn't
as
be the
far as-
biggest
That-
You have a right
That's
to
very
be on,
clear.
that's
You-
very clear. You have a right to be on this road.
You have access.
You have
The public
access.
has a
You
right
have
to be on
access.
this road.
However the right way to say it is. But I think that's the main point.
I think that's right. Certainly, there's no problem with making that point clearer. Again, this was in a moment in time, and as Carrie mentioned, at the time, it was with the hope of having, just while the appeals were pending, the rights be clear, but not necessarily, go beyond that. So you may want to emphasize that. The other point of that, as a suggestion, and I'm not an IT person. I'm a lawyer, as you know. So a couple of years later, we see QR codes everywhere. You could have sort of direction for more of these details that emphasize the big point, which we're seeing more and more in other towns. So.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe this legalese could be at the QR level.
Yeah.
Just like,
Or just referring to the court's decision so that folks can
Yeah,
read it
it's
for
nice.
Yeah.
themselves.
That's good. That's
So,
good.
so we're not determining the exact language here, we're just.
No, I
weighing
think
in.
we're having a discussion. Do we,
Signage or no?
do we need signage?
Signs or no?
Or do we want signage first?
we-
And then there's probably some next steps on
Right.
refining this language,
Right.
potentially.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess if there's a principle of two things, right, which I think we can talk about the specific language. The principle is, one, we want to make it clear this is a thing that the public does have access
Yeah,
to.
Public
Yes.
access, yeah.
And then secondly, we want to clarify what the rules are for
Exactly.
accessing
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Please,
Exactly.
here's how you need to sort of,
Exactly.
do this, right, when you're here. And if those are the two principles, I mean, I think that we should have something that declares those two
Right.
things.
And
Yeah,
simple is good.
I was just weighing that, there are too many words on the left.
Too many
Saying the
words.
same thing in
Too
fewer
many
words, somebody would actually read it.
Simple
Right.
would be great.
And I don't know if we've ever had a QR code, but to the legalese that is here, it's important to include that.
I've seen
People
more
need
and
it.
more QR codes.
Yeah,
on
I have
trail
too,
signs.
right.
Could also be a map of the trail.
yeah, exactly. It could take you to a trail map.
That's
It'd be
right.
helpful.
Oh, trail map, what a concept.
Trail map.
That would be
Trail
cool.
map.
What do you need?
Are these,
Concept.
Yes, that's a
are
great
these
idea.
rules of the road
Um,
like the same as we have for every,
Well, that's what's,
I don't know.
do we have standard rules for our public,
The dog rule.
the dog?
The dog rule is you can have you can have 2 dogs per person. In the off-leash areas, you can have 2 dogs off the leash, and you can have a 3rd dog, but it has to be on a leash. I don't know about the leashed areas, whether you can have 3 dogs on leashes. I think. if
Yeah.
Julia
The
wants to
town has a
comment on
bylaw
I-
that says that a
that's-
dog
There is-
has to be under control.
Yeah.
It's
Under
not a
command,
leash
yeah.
law, it's a.
Yeah, that's right. It's
Yeah.
voice control.
Has to be voice control.
control.
This particular piece of land has a leash.
Restriction.
Three
Leash-
dog
Has a
night.
restriction.
Three dog night.
It's three dog
It
night.
has a leash restriction,
Exactly.
yes.
A
So
leash.
I guess these are specific to this particular,
Right.
some of
Right.
these are,
Yeah.
Able to weigh in
Specific,
here about.
Right.
Hi,
the-
yes.
Yes, Delia.
Hi, Delia Kay,
Please.
Natural Resources Director for the town. And those rules, as I understand it, they were designed to be very similar to the sign that is on the trail, on the sort of private property.
Yes.
So I think it mirrors it quite closely. So it is different from, like this one says 2 dogs.
Right.
On conservation land, we allow 3 dogs. We have the same, 8-foot leash maximum.
no, not, I thought we didn't have a leash law on all conservation land.
Well,
Right.
We do on a
When-
couple
on
parcels.
areas like Punkatassett
Yep.
where it
Okay.
is.
Agricultural
Okay.
producing
Yeah.
lands, there are a few, not many,
Okay.
but on the ones that do have the leash requirement.
Right.
So I think so carry in, carry out, all these are very consistent.
Okay.
Walking bikes through muddy areas, I don't remember if we have that on but we've talked about that with the NRC and Trails Committee. I think the only difference is that where this says no fires, on the private property or on the other side of the, paved right-of-way, where one of the abutters has put up a sign, it does include, where it says no fires, it includes no camping, hunting, swimming, or fires. And I think that's the only difference between those 2 signs.
Yeah, and if I could add, I think at the time these were designed, again, given where we were, the goal was to be respectful of, knowing that there was yet another court to weigh in, be respectful of the rules that were proposed on the other side, from
Okay.
that, on that sign. Not to say that there was explicit agreement on this sign. I want to
Yep.
be clear. That's not what I'm saying. But we were trying to mirror those as closely as possible at the time, and the board was. There's probably some, that's a policy decision at the end of the day, but mirroring those, they're kind of common sense rules is what we're trying to keep it to.
Okay.
So I think sort of like with other areas of our town conversation, this is a place where we want to project that we are a welcoming community.
Right.
We welcome you to come walk here.
Yeah.
Is really the goal. So.
I agree.
Right. So it sounds like this right-hand side, this signage is very similar to established practices that we already have. This no fires, do we have that on all our other properties? I'm just wondering if it should be, similar to that. No camping also. Do people camp in our
I would have to,
conservation?
I'd have to review it. And
Yeah.
if you gave me a
Okay.
minute, I could probably look it up to see what we have. I don't recall exactly what
Yeah.
our signs.
No, my only thing is, let's just be consistent throughout town, right? So whatever we do.
The
Yeah.
right-hand side.
Right.
Consistent.
Yep. Okay. All right. So we clearly, I think, Carrie, we're going to need some staff help to sort of redesign some of this signage and to the one on the left, make the emphasis about public access and clarifying the rules for use.
So
Sounds like-
would you like to see a redraft?
Yeah, I
then
think
at
so.
your next meeting?
Great.
Yeah,
Sure.
we can do that. Okay.
Great.
Yeah, and maybe, in my mind, these are like what you would see at the entrance.
Yeah.
I'm not assuming there would be other signs throughout
Within
the.
that, no, I don't think so. It's the
But
access.
So it's where the
Right.
paved part ends before your, okay.
Yes. So just to be clear, there is the statute under which the road was discontinued. There is a requirement at the point where the discontinued road meets a public way. You are required to have the language in here about the town not maintaining the discontinued portion. So that is why it's in the left-hand sign.
Okay.
It should stay in there. I hear the
Okay.
board's
Okay.
consensus about emphasis and how to reorganize the sign. I think that is a fine point. That's a
Yeah.
policy decision, but there needs to be a sign at the point where the discontinued portion begins, making it clear that the town is not
Yep.
maintaining the road.
Is there anything else on the left that is required? You mentioned one sort of requirement. Anything else?
I believe that's the only requirement. Just
So
a-
the
just a
Could it be
discontinued
a
as a
QR
public.
code?
Yeah.
Could it be accessible via a QR code, or does it have to be visible on the sign?
which specific group?
I'm sure the legislature wasn't thinking about that in 1924 when it passed the law.
So could we try?
I would, having had to figure out whether a system connected of loudspeakers includes Zoom during the pandemic and getting the AG saying, well, we probably don't think so, I would keep it on the sign itself.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So we'll bring this back at a
With the more
subsequent
specific
meeting with more
language.
specific. Yeah. No, I don't think we need a vote on this to bring it back.
All right. Thank
Great.
you.
Great.
Thank you, Town Council.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
These are also
All
not
right.
bad.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep, we have plenty of mics. Oh, yeah, all right. So just a comment. We are allowing public comment on each of our agenda items, and since we're now on this signage topic, I'll recognize Brooke Reed. You want to come to the table? And I'll just remind you, you have to be really close to the microphone.
Okay, terrific, okay.
Right.
And you have a reminder right on there, that's perfect. So I heard a lot of, Brooks Reed, 366 Estabrook Road. I'm one of the owners of the private way. And I heard a lot of reliance on the ruling of the court. And I'm wondering if any of the three courts who ruled on this said that access from dawn to dusk only was a requirement. Did any court rule that?
Can you repeat that?
According to,
Okay,
so
you're referencing that.
So three different courts, am I close enough? So three
Yep.
different courts ruled on Estabrook Road. Did any one of those courts rule that access was to be from dawn to dusk only?
I
Anyone?
guess.
Perhaps town council
No,
knows?
I think that's a question for just general access for the town.
Okay. I don't really need an answer right now, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any court ruled that dogs must be on a leash 8 feet long. I don't think that any court ruled that no more than 2 dogs per person. I don't think any court ruled that dog waste has to be carried out. I don't think any court ruled that we had to keep on the trail and not enter paths marked private, although that's a very good idea. I don't think any court ruled that bikes must be walked through muddy areas, that there could be no fires or no motorized vehicles. So you spoke at length about how you were relying on the court rulings, but you're having all these rules which were not part of the court rulings, and I don't understand where you got them from.
So Brooks, if I could just intervene. So Delia Kay is here, and she's helped sort of validate that the signage on the visitors' rules of the road are very similar to what we have on some other conservation areas in town in terms of use of dogs and keeping walking bikes and no fires, that thing. So I don't think this, on the right-hand side, really has anything to do with
So-
the
so
litigation
you've
language. It's
just-
the left-hand side,
The
I
left
think,
side
where
is
there
what
was
you're gonna
some
go with, okay.
language in particular where the notice, there was a reference to this, I think it's the middle paragraph there, the town of Concord has no obligation to maintain. That language is what I think is explicitly required
Now,
to
now
be posted.
In fact, I would like to read from the actual law because your counsel has given you false information. I have a copy of the law. I have a giant sign up so the public can see it. But let me actually quote
I don't know if it's the
directly
law.
from the law. It says, and I quote, provided that sufficient notice to warn the public against entering thereon is posted where such way enters upon or unites with an existing public way. So, what you heard from your counsel was that we had to announce it wasn't maintained, but nothing in the law says that. It says that you have to be warned against entry where it unites with the public way. And happy to send that to you, but your counsel's wrong.
But you can send those comments, and we'll take it into consideration
Okay.
as we redesign the next draft of the signage.
There had been an earlier comment from Mr. Macarius about you being given bad information and spending tens of thousands of dollars, and now your counsel has just again given you false information. And this is deeply concerning for those of us who pay taxes to pay for attorneys who repeatedly say false things, things that are misplaced. It's deeply troubling for us as citizens. Thank you very much.
I understand. Thank you for your comment. Okay, so we do have 2 additional comments here. I'm going to start with Susan Frommer. Susan, if you've got your hand raised and you want to speak on this topic. You look like you're unmuted. I think. She's promoted. Okay, Susan, I'm not hearing from you. I'm going to move on to Miguel Echevarri. Miguel, are you able to unmute and speak?
Yep. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, apologies. I didn't say it last time. Miguel Echevarri, homeowner at 255 Commonwealth Ave. I just have two quick questions. One of them is we kept referring to the fact that you were not maintaining that road. And I'm just curious, what happens when you start maintaining that road? Like a new administration down the road, a new select board decides to maintain the road. How does it change the status of the road? Does that mean that private landowners can start to build, like a new Harvard administration could build a campus and have access to it through Estherbrook Road if you guys started maintaining that road?
So Mina, you can speak to this. I will say that I don't expect that would be the case, and that would be a different decision, but Mina should speak to this.
Madam Chair, I think it's an entirely speculative question,
Yeah.
and it actually is not. The road was discontinued, and what the court's decision focuses on is what is the effect for public access on a discontinued road. So there would be a lot of steps that the board or the town would have to take to be able to gain the right to maintain it. It's further speculation about what a private university who owns land, some of which is in conservation, as I understand it, correct? Yeah, would be able to do or not do on that land. None of that is a natural outgrowth of the court's decision.
Great.
It's not a
Thank-
matter of
Thank you.
speculation, though. It's what it is a matter of is that if down the road a new town administration wants to generate income, and allow and start
So-
maintaining that road, will it open up that road? That's a legitimate question to ask.
So
Because I
Miguel,
love access to that.
Miguel, I'm
Yeah.
just going to suggest that right now that's speculative, and this board is not
I
entertaining
just
that
lost your
topic.
feed. I didn't hear what you said.
Can you hear me now?
Hello?
I think when the screen goes out, can you hear us now,
Hello?
Miguel?
You shut me off.
I don't know. You know what?
Hello?
Is he muted?
Hello?
Is he promoted? Still? Miguel, can you hear us now?
Wow, they shut me off?
Are we muted? We're not
Hello?
muted.
Okay.
We're not.
I guess that's how Concord works these days, Stephanie.
No, so obviously
What's
for
that?
everyone who's listening,
No,
we-
they just muted. They won't.
Kristen.
I can't hear anything they're saying.
Kristen.
Why don't we shut him
Madam
off?
Chair, I just want to
Yeah.
state for the record and in the
Right.
minutes, can you please reflect that we can all hear Mr. Echeverry loud and clear?
okay,
No one is muted.
okay. All right, so we tried to reach Susan Frommer before. Susan, can you unmute yourself? Can we hear you? Or can you hear us? All right, Susan, we're going to move on, and I'm going to ignore your hand. Oh, are you there? Susan?
Yes, can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'd like you to check mass law, because posting signs and putting up a QR code is not legal on a private way. And a town cannot make regulations on private ways without the written permission of the owners. So please investigate and don't listen to what the lawyers are saying without investigating. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comment. All right, next, did I see Andrea? Was Andrea have her hand raised?
She did.
She did. Andrea Solomon, thank you. Andrea?
Hi.
Hi,
I just
Ann.
wanted to let you know that there are parts of the meeting that we can't hear you. We can hear whoever's unmuted, but we can't hear you in the room. That just happened for a few minutes, and I just wanted to let you know that was happening.
Okay, and you can hear us now, though, Andrea.
Now we can, yeah. I don't
Great.
know if it's obvious to you when we can't hear you.
No, it's not. I don't think.
It becomes obvious to us.
We're told about it.
Yeah, thank you, Andrea.
Sure.
All right, I do not see other hands raised. Wait, yes, come to the table and speak closely to the microphone.
Thank you. I'm Paul McCone. I live
Yep.
at 33 Grove Street. Quick question. In reading the rules and regs that you have on these signs, where does the enforcement power lie with each of these regulations? I'll give you a perfect example. If I get on my truck right now and this sign was posted and I drive through the gate and I go up on the trail in my truck, I'm violating one of these rules. Where is the enforcement power and under what statute?
I can't speak to a statute, but
Would you like to speak?
Sure. First of all, the court's decision, again, just to be
Same.
clear, only gets at what's on this left side. Everything on the right side is a suggestion to begin with that the town could put up because in the past, these are the kinds of issues that folks have mentioned as concerns. So if the town decided not to put up those signs, it doesn't have to, but I would suspect that folks would like to not be interrupted, dusk to dawn, all of those other things. To the actual question, though, towns have an authority to implement reasonable regulations for public health and welfare. And that includes, for instance, not all noise is generated on public roads or public ways, but there are noise ordinances and bylaws. There are other ways to protect against public nuisance. So that is where that general authority lies. I think from what I understand, from what we're hearing, there has not been in the past, however many months it's been since the decision, significant motor vehicle traffic, and I think there's no expectation of it. Part of that is because the road is not improved for it. I think the town can state, and just to be clear from the last commenter, our recommendation is to put the sign on public land, on the public way portion of the land here, not just the part with public access. And so the town saying, that it has not made this road available for motor vehicle traffic beyond that is setting a rule for general public health and welfare. That, again, does not seem to be a problem today. And that does not affect the rights of abutters who have different rights as private property owners along the trail.
Thank you. Okay.
I still don't get it. I don't see the answer, Mina. Who enforces it? If I drive up there, who do you call? And then what does that person who you call do when
Police.
they're presented with me
Yep.
with a vehicle on that way?
And that might be a police
It's up to the chair
enforcement.
to answer, but yes,
Right, yeah.
like any other public, up to the chair for me to answer.
Yes, please
Because this is
proceed.
public comment and not.
Yes,
not-
thank you, Mina.
Thank you, yes.
Right.
But if it's helpful, like any other rule of the town, it would be subject to notice of the police department. There are civil and and other means to do that, other ways to tell folks to cease and desist. There's that, but it would be like any other enforcement of a town rule or regulation.
Thank you.
And at the end of the day, again, it is not changed from the legal decision, has no bearing on this other than to recognize the stated public access is allowed. The town would be putting up a sign to explain what it believes are reasonable forms of that access.
Great, thank you, Mina, I appreciate it. All right, we're going to move on now in our agenda.
I just want to ask one more question.
One,
The access from dawn to dusk,
yes.
what's the who would be the regulating person that would address that to someone that would be up there or camping up there? The reason, what I'm saying here, Wendy, is bylaws, when you're putting up a regulation, you have something that backs it up.
Yep.
In White Pond, you cannot, can I use a motorboat on White's Pond?
No, but somebody did, and they had to get it stopped.
Yeah,
So,
but the answer to that question is no, it's a bylaw. The, can I use a steamboat on White Pond? No, and I'm making a
Yep.
point.
Keep going, yep.
Yes, I can. And I can fuel it with wood, rubber, anything I want, as long as it's not an internal combustion engine. This question was asked to the police department when I was on it. And it seems like an absurd point. But you have throwing up rules and without a statute or a bylaw that gives you some enforcement power. It's not worth the sign it's printed on.
Well, we'll discuss it in the future. So thank you for your comment. We're going to move on now on our agenda, which I guess we're going to Chair's report. Okay, so.
Up next.
That's
Cheers.
me. I know. Couple items. So since we last met, we had the information session for the Department of Transportation. Thank you, Mina. That was the information session on the Route 2 rotary design. I believe the Select Board should formally comment on those Route 2 rotary designs to the DOT. So I will volunteer to take the lead in drafting that letter and have it for review at our next meeting.
Excellent.
Okay.
That's great.
If there's a volunteer who would like to take a pass at review my letter, let me know offline. I'll take that.
Just a question, would you like some input to that, or do you want to wait to see?
Why do I've gotten a lot of input. I've sort of been at all the meetings. I've collected it. So let me take the first stab at it.
Okay.
And then we'll have it at our next meeting.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you. The second is just, again, going back to agenda management. I know this has been an ongoing challenge. We had goals scheduled to be reviewed tonight. This meeting got to be over 3 hours long, and we weren't leaving till much later. So I deferred the discussion on goals, and we will have it at the next meeting. But I want
On
to
the
just
20th, yeah?
on the 20th, because I just want to make sure that we're having a good, thoughtful discussion, and I don't want to rush it. So it will be on the 20th meeting. I know, but what we did do is include the goals in the meeting packet for tonight, so you've all had a chance to look at what's there. I know there's been one correction that I think, Dean, you wanted to make. Cameron
Yeah,
submitted
and I
some goals.
apologize. I did add a bunch today.
Yeah, no.
So
I
I know
guess
that
my-
may not have made it into the.
It didn't,
packet.
so we will redistribute. Before we redistribute, I just wanted to ask members of the group, you've all written your goals. Does anybody need to edit or review or revise what you submitted at all? I'm
I
not
just want to
saying-
comment.
Yep.
The package you sent out had my comments highlighted in yellow. Those are my highlights for you.
Yeah.
There's nothing special about those.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you can take out the highlights.
Oh, okay.
They
That's
don't
fine.
mean anything.
Yep.
Other than my
Copy and
comments.
paste.
It seemed like, I think I misunderstood an email that you sent out, Wendy. So some of the goals that I had and some of the goals that Paul had, especially around DEI,
Yeah,
seemed need to be converged.
yep.
So
Yeah.
you want to do that in our meeting?
In our
or-
meeting, I think.
Okay.
Here,
Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean,
Yeah.
I saw some overlap for sure.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
it's best
Okay,
to
we'll do
talk
that.
them through.
Yeah.
That's
I just
fine.
didn't know
Yeah,
if
so
you
I
wanted
have
to.
maybe some comments on other
Yeah.
people's, but I assume we do that.
Yeah.
We'll do
Okay.
that.
That's
in
We'll
the
do it
public forum.
collectively.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, so I'm not hearing that people want to revise what they did, so we will, Cameron, you've already submitted them.
I
so we'll
submitted them,
res-
yeah. I apologize,
we'll,
I submitted
No,
them.
we'll just redistribute
Earlier
in the next
today.
day or so, so you have the full
Great.
set, okay? Great, okay, and then in terms of meetings, I did want to just reconfirm. It looks like we do need a meeting on July 27th. We just have so many agenda items. Our meeting for the 20th is already 2.5 hours long, which means it'll be 3. So I think we're going to need July 27th. July 27th will be focused entirely on financial topics. We expect to do a review of the FY26 financials, but also the Financial Audit Committee. Cameron, we're looking to have come.
Yeah, and we have
On
another,
that-
we have another meeting next week.
Okay, so you
So,
think that
yeah.
timing's good?
Yeah,
Great,
we're meeting on the
great.
15th.
Okay.
So we should,
Apologies to the other members. I'll probably have to be remote for that
Yeah,
meeting.
I understand.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Thank you, Paul, for your flexibility for still joining us. All right, so we will meet on the 27th. The meeting after that is August 3rd. And just as a reminder, on August 3rd, we're doing the town manager's review, but a reminder to all of us, we have the town manager's review that's due to Jess for your portion of that review. So just a reminder, it's due next Monday,
Okay.
the 13th. So
Great, okay.
it's just a tickler.
Good.
And that's it for me, so we'll move on now to the town manager's report.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. I wanted to note that the fiscal 27 state budget is sitting with the governor for approval. As presented, it results in approximately $140,000 of additional revenue to the town of Concord, coming under the unrestricted general government aid. So that means that our property tax projection for fiscal 27 is now less than 2%. So a little bit less than what we presented at town
Great.
meeting. In other news, we did find out on Friday that our grant with the state E911, the development grant for the feasibility study for the hosted emergency communications dispatch program, was unsuccessful. The decision was related solely on funding limitations. The funding really went to support construction projects. There were over $135 million worth of funding requests and $50 million available. The E911 staff noted that the town has the ability to work with the UMass Boston Collins Center at no cost to do this work. We have worked with them previously. We will be meeting with our partners in Lincoln and Carlisle and talking about how to proceed. We are very committed to advancing this project in fiscal 27. We were hoping for the grant funding. We will figure out how we will move forward again, whether we decide to work again with the Collins Center or to see if we can raise some funds in another way. I did want to mention that Minuteman Media Network helped CMLP issue a second video on time of day rates, which was released today. It's called Our Vision for Equity, and it's the CMLP director talking about the impact and the importance of time of day rates. There is also a 5 ways to save with time of day rates video, very short video that is on the CMLP website, and I think would be very beneficial for anybody trying to understand the best way to maximize time of day rates. The library summer reading program, Dragons and Friends, is underway. We have 1,000 registered youngsters, kids and young adults. The program is open also to adults, and I have a folder if anybody is interested with some information that I will pass around. They are doing the collectible cards again this year, and the program is available. You can sign up anytime this summer, and it will be closing out on August 15th. I did want to note that, as you might imagine, there's been a lot of activity at White Pond and Walden Pond, particularly over the heat wave that we just experienced. And for Walden Pond in particular, I want to note that there are lifeguards. They do patrol the roped-in area, but as you know, there are a number of people who swim outside of that, and I would just remind people to know your limits, because it is a long way from our station over to Walden Pond, and just yesterday we had 5 visits over to Walden Pond for assisting swimmers who were in the pond. The Personnel Board will be meeting later this week. They are taking up the employee handbook. This is an initiative that has been underway for at least 2 years, and we are hoping that the Personnel Board will be able to sign off on the employee handbook. This will be the first employee handbook that we've had with the town of Concord. It's a very important initiative, and it is a recommendation coming out of the Personnel Study Task Force that concluded its work probably 3 years ago at this point. There is lots of road work that is underway, as anybody driving around town is aware of. We keep our website updated with where we will be next, and there's information on who to contact with any questions. And finally, I will mention that our town staff will be joining the next FinCom meeting on Monday, July 13th, for the next installment of what the Finance Committee is calling the deep dive, and we're calling Town Government 101. And we will have presentations on the general government budgets and the human services budgets.
Great.
And those are the items I wanted to mention this evening. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you, Carrie. I will notice, and just to give the team a lot of credit, the road construction notices have been very helpful. So it's really good messaging out to the community on those. So helpful.
Thank
Can I
you.
ask a quick
Yeah,
question?
Mary.
Carrie, can you remind me, what was the amount of the grant for the regional dispatch?
I want to say it was in the 30 to 50,000 range total. That's for the project.
Okay.
We did expect that there would be some split between the communities, but likely Concord taking the lion's share, because we would be offering the hosted service, and if it didn't work out with other communities, we would be looking for other partners.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hey, Carrie, on that point, I know we've used the Collins Center in the past, but are there other groups that could help us with that particular work for the dispatch, hosted dispatch?
Yeah, there are other consulting groups that we feel have more technical expertise
Okay.
in this area. The Collins Center is free,
Yeah.
has a particular contract with the state and provides those services for
Okay.
free. We did use them the last time we looked at regional dispatch with Acton and Concord, and just all things being equal, we feel that there are other consulting firms that could provide us with a better product.
Great. All right. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. Sorry. I'm looking at you. Do you guys have any more questions? All right. Thank you. Diane Proctor, I see you've got your hand raised.
Thank you very much. Diane Proctor, 57 Sudbury Road. Thank you so much. While we're noticing things that the town does well, I just want to thank you for the update and the revision of the town website. I mean, it is absolutely spectacular. One can find things, one can navigate it successfully. One can see what meetings are going on during the week and figure out how to attach oneself to them. I just thank you so much. It makes a huge difference, and it's been a tremendous service to the town. And we are in Sudbury Road here, where there's a lot of activity in terms of road work. So we're well aware, but we were able to figure that out in advance, thanks to the good promotion. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane.
I just want to add, there's been one important update to the website, which I just became aware. Minuteman Media has added a button on the homepage for Minuteman Media videos of town meetings,
Great.
committee meetings. So
Great.
instead of searching individual committees, you can click that button and hopefully find everything.
there.
Right there.
Yeah. Of the 60-plus committees that are probably recorded.
It'll take you into the complexity of our committees.
Great. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so moving on, I just want to note that depending on which version of the agenda you're looking at, tonight we were going to have a public hearing on a grant of location for Comcast service to the Concord Consortium. That agenda item is no longer on your agenda. It'll be deferred to a future meeting. There was an omission in one of the street names. Abutters were notified, but because of the policy around notice, we want to just be completely thorough, so we're going to defer that item to our next meeting agenda. So the next agenda item would then be the grant of location for National Grid for replacement of the gas main at 235 Elsinore Street to Grant Street. And
Are they on yet?
No,
Are
Mary.
they-
Mary's here.
Oh, Mary's here.
Mary is here.
All right,
And I'll
then-
just
Yeah.
note in the public hearing notice, it does say 6:10, so we're fine to start earlier than what you have on your agenda.
Great, thank you for clearing that. And
I'm going to
Cameron.
recuse myself.
Okay, great. Thanks, Cameron.
Let me know when.
Yeah.
All right, yep, Kristen LaFranca. And Mary, you'll fill in as pro tem for this motion that might be anticipated. Okay, all right, so I'll just remind you, you have to speak really close to that microphone.
Okay.
Thank you. So Mary Mulroney?
Yes.
Yep.
Good
From National
evening.
Grid.
Thank you for having me. I'm representing National Grid, and we're requesting a grant of location as part of our bare steel replacement program. And National Grid's recommending that we replace 1,215 feet of 2-inch coated steel dating back to 1968, approximately 15 feet of 2-inch plastic dating back to 2015, 2016, and 420 feet of 4-inch plastic from 1995, and 750 feet of 2-inch coated steel dating back to 1930. And we want to replace that with 2,400 feet of 2-inch plastic in Elsinore Street from the existing 2-inch plastic main at 235 Elsinore Street to Grant Street.
Wendy, if I could, the select board should take a motion to open the public hearing before you continue discussion.
That's right, yes. So I move to open the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And if I
Thank
could
you,
just note that in the packet, you'll see a memorandum from Wright Pierce, and that may look different to you because of the vacancies that we have in
Yeah.
engineering. We have contracted out some of our review, and so the memorandum from Wright Pierce serves as the town engineer's memorandum on this particular public hearing request.
Thank you for that clarification. That was one of my questions.
And, sorry, one last thing. I do see that Steve Dukran, our town engineer, is in the remote audience if there are questions.
Okay, great. So, Carrie, just with that letter, that I was confused by who wrote the letter,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to hear from Steve directly that these are, in fact, all the terms that he is requiring for this implementation. Steve, are you? Steve
Yes,
Dukran?
yeah.
Yep.
Steve Dukran, town engineer. Yes, all the conditions are listed here are the same that we generally put in our letter to the board. So if the board chooses to approve this petition, we ask that those conditions be included as part of the approval.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Steve. And that, Mary, a question for you. I know there's a reference to abandoned pipes and land. I just want to get a verification that anything that's abandoned is going to be removed.
No. National Grid does not remove pipe from the ground.
So I recall in the West Concord area, there was a requirement to have some of that pipe removed. And so my question on this application is, why not? And maybe, Steve, that's a question for you as well. I think it's a safety issue to leave things in the ground unnecessarily if they're not used. So, Steve, I was referring to the last time National Grid was here, and it was over at the Baker Ave intersection, and there was abandoned pipe that was, I don't remember what that street's called, but there was a pipe that was going to be abandoned, and we required that it be removed. And I want to ask why that's not a condition here on this application.
Right. Regarding the last one, the line was going to be in the way of the work that we were planning to do. That's the culvert repair work that we had planned then. So it needed to be removed. The discussion about removal of abandoned gas pipes has been an old one for us. We have a lot of history with going back and forth with National Grid. But what Mary just said, that they don't do that. It's more of a policy or practice that National Grid has been doing for generations, and that's pretty accepted by the state, by the I think by the DPU. We would prefer when lines are removed because then you don't have to deal with them.
Right.
The streets normally crowded, but we've even tried to litigate it. We had a town attorney present and discussing this for a number of years, and we were advised that the practice that National Grid does in most communities in the Commonwealth is this, that the pipes have to stay in place. But we do have a condition that if there is a need to remove the pipe because it's interfering with other infrastructure, other work, that National Grid will cooperate and assist us in doing so. But we don't have it written as where that they will have to. It's more of having them work with us. That's condition number 4 in the letter.
Mm-hmm. So, Mary, maybe a question for you. So you're putting new pipe in. Is it right next to this old pipe? And is it entirely different place? I didn't look at all the technical drawings, but it just seems odd that you're just going to leave this stuff in the road. And then if you're putting new pipe in right next to it,
Well, the pipe, some of the pipe is from 1930. so
You don't know, I
that's
get it,
90
but you're
years old.
leaving it. You're leaving it, and you're just putting in brand-new pipe.
Correct.
But is the new pipe going to be like right next to the old pipe? I mean, if you're,
It depends what is in the ground.
Right.
If we can fit the diameter of pipe as close to it, but usually there's a distance between it. Like
Yeah.
3 feet.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Madam Chair, can I explain further?
sure, go ahead, Steve, thank you.
Yeah, so with pressurized pipes, especially with gas pipes, the way it works is that you have to put on the new main and tie length, and then you have to transfer the services one by one. So the old main has to stay active until the project is pretty much done. And that is why you have to have the new main some distance away from the old one. And in fact, that's the reason why we have a grant of location, because if you were replacing it in its exact location, then they already have the permit to have that located. But because it's a new location, that's why we have the petition for a new grant of location. So the answer is yes, the new main will be some distance away from the old one.
Okay, Steve, thank you. It all makes sense to me. I get it. Paul?
Yeah, thank you, Mary. In looking at the map, Elsinore and it's a residential street. There are roughly 50 residences. Maybe I miscounted. There is a traffic management plan in here, but my concern is sort of residential access during this construction. People have to get in and out of their driveways, down the road. It's more than just traffic management. How does National Grid handle the individual access during a
I
normal
am going
day?
to say National Grid is excellent at that.
Okay.
I'm
sure you are. Explain it, please.
They'll notify the residents as they go. The starting point will be discussed with Steve Dugrin and our engineers and our supervisors for the project. And what happens is they'll start at number 11 or whatever Steve and them decide, and they go in accordance. And then as they go, they notify the neighbors that, we'll be down there in 4 days, we'll be down there in, a week. And then if there's a circumstance, that will always be adhered to. Like if someone needed to go to the doctors or something, that they'll notify them and they'll let their car come out.
So there'll be a lot of communication with
Yes,
the residents
correct.
in advance of the project or during the project?
During the project as well. They'll notify them ahead of time, ahead of the start of the project, but they'll also keep them notified as the project's continued. And the residents will see, they'll start, like I said, say at 11, and then they might complete, in a week, so many feet, and then they continue on. But everybody's
Right.
notified.
And as you go, as Steve mentioned, each residence has to have a separate hookup. You have to connect as you go.
Some of them do, yes.
So there'll be notifications for that because
Oh,
people
yes.
have to shut off the gas and restart
Yes,
the gas.
the old main will still stay
Yeah.
alive until
it's
everybody's hooked
switched.
up. That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Oh, and the last question. The whole project, start to finish timing? How long? will it-
This one, Steve, there's a stipulation because of
Oh,
of the
Road
town, I
construction,
believe,
yeah.
paving too. It has to be done prior to October. So if the grant's granted this evening, National Grid will meet with Steve and the supervisors and schedule a start date probably within a week or two.
Okay, so a couple of months.
Yes.
Project.
Yes.
So that was getting directly to my question, is the coordination with Public Works and the repaving of the road. So they may be tearing up the road to do either other undergrounding or other things, and you're coordinating with them.
Yes.
Okay. That answers that question for me. The other question for me is, what percentage of the houses on that road are taking your service? Does everybody in that red zone that's in the map, are they all gas customers?
I have no idea.
You don't know?
No.
Okay. Just
We
asking that
don't, we're
question.
not
I drove-
soliciting gas, we're just trying to maintain.
Yeah, I know, you're
right.
maintaining your service.
Yes,
I
yeah.
get it.
Yeah, I guess the other just question around communications is, this is a big neighborhood, and it was a question about when is the construction. So when school buses need to go down here, there might need to be some special coordination around that, because there'll be kids who are going to need to get in and around.
Your town determines that? Like,
Yep.
they would suggest, like, extra police, or
Yep.
it can't be, Steve would put it in the permit, like, you can't start until after, I don't know what
Okay.
time your school is,
Yep.
8:30. We couldn't start till 9, you know.
Okay, that's how that's handled. Great.
I have a question. So this is replacing old pipe, which you delineated all the ages of the different
Mhm. And sizes.
sections. Does it increase capacity?
No. No.
Okay, thank you.
Looks like you're actually reducing the pipe size in
Size,
some areas,
right,
which
correct.
suggests some people don't need that much service. But, right,
Okay, thank you.
okay.
Should I close the hearing?
Anything else?
You need to ask if there's any.
If there's any, well, do we do that before or after the hearing?
We're going to see
During
if
the
there's any
hearing?
No,
public.
the
Yeah,
public
right.
talks
All right,
during
so
the
if there are people with public comment, you want to raise your hand so we can identify you?
Okay, so I'll move to close the
All right.
public hearing.
Is
Do
there-
these people all get notified?
Is there a second on closing the hearing?
I move to close the
second.
public hearing.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Are we ready for a motion?
I think, yes, no more discussion, yes,
I
we're
don't
ready
see
for a
anybody. Okay.
motion.
Motion to approve the grant of location request for National Grid for replacement of gas main from 235 Elsler Street to Grant Street.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And Mary, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
thank you very much.
All right.
To answer your question, yes, they will be notified.
Megan, can you just help?
They'll
She's
receive
doing it, yeah,
letters.
great, yeah.
No, I was more asking
Okay.
that question about abutters being notified of this
Yeah,
hearing.
yep.
Oh, they were?
Were they? Okay.
Yes,
Just
oh,
in
of
case.
course they
Okay.
were, yes.
That, all right,
Oh, yeah.
exactly, yeah. All right.
Okay, all right, we're going to move on in our agenda.
You didn't draw a
So
lot
our
of
next
interest.
presentation,
That's good.
Elizabeth, I think, is online. We're going to have a presentation on the Assabet River Multi-Use Bridge and Trail.
I know.
And I
It's a
see
big-
Elizabeth. All right,
They all
Dean
got public,
and
they all got
Paul.
notice to the abutters, you know.
I'm not talking.
I know. All right, Elizabeth, you're going to share your screen?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Does everybody see my opening slide?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks.
No, thank you for having me come tonight. I appreciate it. And this is just a quick project overview. I don't think I've been back to the select board for a while. Existing conditions, proposed conditions, and anticipated impacts. Ultimately, when we get to the end, I'm going to be looking for the board's feedback on a design option solution and whether the board supports that option. So first off, I'm going to just remove a couple of screens. This project has been going on in earnest since 2016 and has gone through, as everybody knows, a lot of robust project development and public input. The consultant team, which is made up of GPI, Greenman Pearson Inc., who's our engineering consultant, and La Dahlman, who is the architectural consultant, submitted to Mass DOT our 25% design material in January, received comments back in April, and we're currently
We lost
looking
you.
for okay, I can't see the room when I'm presenting, so.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, we got you.
We can hear you.
Did you have a question?
No, we're all
keep-
set.
Keep
You
going.
dropped, your audio dropped
Yeah,
out.
we lost you for a sec.
Yep.
You're good.
Oh, okay. All right, let me, I'm gonna.
You're good right now,
You're good
Elizabeth.
now.
You're okay, keep
Good
going.
line, okay.
Yep, keep going.
Now I gotta figure out how to get this back. Hang on, oh, there we go. So once we respond to the 25% design comments, we will be working with Mass DOT to schedule a public hearing late summer, early fall. And that will be publicized, and it'll be basically the first real public unveiling of the technical engineering drawings that they have been working on. So just to orient everybody, bottom, and I don't know if you can see I changed the color of my cursor, bright yellow. To the bottom is the commuter rail. This is the Assabet River. This is Concord Park Assisted Living. We have the commuter rail parking lot. And this white line right here is the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. Over here is Beharrell Street. So this project is at the intersection of the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail, will extend through the parking lot, come around over the river to the other side. On this side is 300 Baker Avenue, and just off the slide is where the Novo Riverside Commons multifamily project is going to be built. As part of the initial phase of the survey work, the consultant team did survey large trees in the area, and that was the basis for looking at different design options for the location of the bridge. And as everybody knows, the goal is to connect the West Concord commuter rail lot and the businesses on one side to across the river to 300 Baker Ave, the medical center, now the residences at Novo and the Marriott. And the trail and bridge are being required to accommodate both pedestrians and bicycles and be fully ADA accessible. It will provide views of the river and provide a location to gather off the trail and enjoy that scenic area. So back to orient you, this is the bridge itself where it crosses the Assabet. Roughly in about this location is where the design for
Elizabeth?
the town stops. Yeah?
Yeah, can I just have I don't think we can see your cursor. So I know you're referencing it, but we're not seeing your cursor. But that's okay, just proceed.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay. So the large white line you see going horizontal, that is the proposed trail.
Yep.
It goes through the West Concord parking lot and connects over to the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. The original plan, which is shown here, there were minimal impacts to the actual layout of the parking lot. However, the circulation in the parking lot was modified. In coordinating with Concord Park Assisted Living, the trail now would act as a divider in the parking lot. Currently, there's a section of the parking lot, excuse me, that goes north-south, basically parallel with Concord Park. And it crosses their driveway. And what Concord Park has experienced numerous times is people proceeding through that parking lot and basically just blowing through their driveway. And it has really created a safety issue for them. So when we first talked with Concord Park, we looked at a trail going through and basically dividing the parking lot so that through north and south through wasn't there anymore, slowing the speeds down. And if you notice how the trail comes through the parking lot, goes south of Concord Park Assisted Living, and then it kind of meanders up and down and around. And that was specifically designed in that manner to try and reduce the number of large trees. So this design shows two different options that the engineering team laid out first. And again, here on option one, you'll see on the right side of the photo, that's where the trail would bisect that north-south, currently the cars that speed through, and then come out to the left and connect to the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail. The option on the right is a slightly different layout, but incorporated angle parking and reduced the number of spaces. Excuse me. After talking with the design team and Concord Park and Mass DOT, the preferred option was option 1.
Option 1.
The issue with, and I think, well, can you see my cursor if I use it on this?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Oh,
Yep.
oh, perfect.
We saw it for a
On the
sec.
screen.
Yep.
Okay, so this is that north-south through the parking lot that people speed through.
Okay.
And this right here is the trail that would basically bisect that parking lot. So the flow of traffic, people can come in. If there were no parking spots, go around, and then they could circle through this way. But the speeds through this portion wouldn't be as high as they were. With both of these options, it does require some impacts to existing site lighting and some mature trees with having to shift the parking to the north. You can kind of see the outline of the existing landscaped area right here. This would shift everything northward. And there's a lot going on in this slide, so
Yep.
I apologize. But during the site walk that we did with Mass DOT, MBTA, Concord Municipal Light Plant, specifically looking at the parking, all of the yellow highlighted areas you see are existing light poles. Over here is where a proposed stormwater detention basin would be located. And here would be another one. The driveway gets shifted to the north. Utility poles would have to be removed. Here's a picture of, this large tree that this road would get closer to this tree, closer to the building. There's trees over in this location, very mature trees in this location. So it was during this site walk that Mass DOT flagged all of these items. And shifting the driveway to the north removes a fairly wide area of green space that acts as a buffer to the businesses and provides area for snow storage. And Mass DOT really wanted the design consultant to look at other options that might be able to retain the existing trees and not have to require the shift in especially the utility lights. So our consultant went back and evaluated that. And so the whole reason I'm here is if 6 of the current parking spaces on this side that they were showing in the plan were not constructed, this area would then could be used for stormwater detention basin. The road would not, the driveway to Concord Park and the rest of the parking would not have to be relocated. The utility poles would not have to be relocated. And it retains the mature trees in the parking lot. I can't even begin to tell you what's involved if you have to move a light pole. So that's the reason I am here, is to get support from the select board for this design option. That's all I had.
Thanks, Elizabeth. So can you tell us, the parking lot today, it doesn't always seem that full. So the loss of 6 parking spots, what does that do to the local business area?
With our transportation strategy plan that's almost complete, Concord did not see a huge shift back to people commuting and using the commuter rail parking lot. You can see it at the West Concord lot. You can see it at Crosby's. There's 52 spaces where we used to have, before COVID, a waiting list of probably 40 to 50 people for those parking permits. I think on average, there's now 12 people that park there off and on. So I don't feel that, based on the data that we have from the transportation strategy plan, that 6 parking spaces will be an impact on the commuter parking. And currently the town portion of the West Concord commuter lot is also supposed to be resident parking. Those are never full. So it's, I don't think 6 spaces is going to be any impact whatsoever.
Okay.
If I-
Thank you. Paul?
Yeah, I'm trying to, so if I look at the option 1 preferred, which I guess you're not preferring because you have a different option here.
Yeah.
And I take away 6 spaces from option 1 preferred, that leaves 230 spaces. So versus the existing, well, how many spaces would there be? 233?
There's 230. It looks, yeah.
So it'd be 233, right?
Well,
230?
yeah, that was sort of my same,
Yeah.
I think I'm going to ask the same question. It says an additional 6 spots, meaning were we removing spots anyways, and now we're removing 6 more?
Well, I don't know. The option that has all the scribbles on it looks like option 1 preferred, but with removing 6 spaces, something like that, which isn't a
Elizabeth-
big change. I mean, the bottom line.
Elizabeth, can you just confirm that? So is really what you're proposing sort of option 1, less 6 spaces? It might be configured a little differently.
Yeah.
Hang on one second. So this is the table that you're looking at?
Option 1, we're not seeing your
We're not
screen,
seeing
sorry.
your screen, Elizabeth.
All right, so I'm
No,
seeing
no, yeah. So-
option 1, existing 239, proposed 236. And you're saying that proposed
Oh, it's an
236 would
additional?
go down to 230.
Because it's an
So you'd be
additional.
going
Correct.
down,
Oh, okay,
so you'd
okay.
be going down
Yes.
from 239 today to 230 going
Correct.
forward,
Right.
down 9
Okay.
spaces overall.
So it's
Correct.
Okay.
It's 230, yeah, so it's
But
9 total.
6 are because of this option.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I don't
There was
think-
going to be 3, now
Well, I
there's
don't
going to
think
be
it's a
9.
big
Yeah.
change, but, projecting into the future with MCI, I mean, hopefully people will take the bike path down to the station, won't drive to the station, but there's going to be a big population boost, and we hope they're using mass transit, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't underestimate the use of that parking in the future. But having said that, 6 spaces, it's not a real big change.
Well, it's 9, let's just be clear. It's
9
9
Oh,
from
not-
today.
Right, from
Yeah,
existing,
right,
correct.
from today.
It's not.
And, okay.
Do we
and
get paid for?
Go ahead, Mary.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do we get
Mary.
paid from MBTA for those spaces, Carrie?
There are, we sell parking.
To them?
And
To them, okay.
we sell parking to the public, and we split the revenue with the MBTA.
So there is some revenue to us.
There is.
Okay.
But that's-
It's not a lot, though, is it? mean, I
It
know you
is,
don't
it
know
is
the
not a
number.
lot, and I would agree with Elizabeth, there used to be a significant waiting line, and now there is plenty of, there are plenty of
Available.
permits that are available.
Okay,
I have a different
great.
question.
Yeah, Mary, go ahead.
Okay, so when I look at this, Elizabeth, I see that now we've got a trail, I guess. Is it a bike trail going between 2 parking lots? Is that
It's connecting to Bruce Freeman.
Yes.
Bruce
to
Freeman
connect to the
Correct.
Bruce
to the
Freeman?
bridge.
Is that a bike trail, or is that a, what is
It's
that going to look like?
Yes.
It's a bike trail?
Yes. It's a multi-use trail.
Huh. Okay, that's news to me. The only thing I've ever seen is
The bridge.
graphics of the bridge itself and different locations, and now I see we're actually putting in a whole new trail. So that's.
Well, this is the terminus in the parking lot. That's the design here.
It connects, yeah, it
it's
ends
going
at the Bruce
through-
Freeman.
It's going through the parking lot now, right? It's a whole swath
Yes.
through the 2 parking lots.
Yes.
Well, the only way to get from the bridge to the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail is through the parking lot.
I understand. It's just, what's that, so is that a paved trail or is that a?
Yes.
Yep.
It will be.
Okay.
So for Mass DOT and Transportation Improvement Program funding, they require the terminuses to be at basically public ways.
Okay.
So on one side, the trail will come off the bridge and then it will go through the Novo Riverside project at 10 feet wide, and it will connect to Baker Avenue on the opposite side of the railroad crossing. And then on this side, it will come off the bridge. The trail will continue through the parking lot and terminus at the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail, which Mass DOT agrees is somewhat of a public way for bike and pedestrian.
So if I look at this whole project, which is, now I'm realizing it's both a bridge and a trail, the bridge is pretty much something that we've already decided on. Is that a correct statement? And this
design.
25% design was the trail?
No, 25%
It's the-
design, that's the
Was
status of
everything,
the-
was everything.
It's the whole project.
It's
Right.
the whole project. Okay, so the trail now will go out for a public review, you said in late summer, early fall.
The whole project.
So it'd be a public
Will go-
hearing, right?
Yes, a Mass DOT public hearing.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm not being clear. I remembered that there were many public outreaches from you and consultants looking at different possible locations for the bridge and different aesthetics for the bridge and different materials, and there was a lot of discussion, and I think we decided on this particular location, we decided on this particular type of bridge. I guess we decided on that, and it went out for a 25% design, and that's where you got into the point where you're extending it, the trail. So you're coming to us tonight to approve the trail, the location of the trail?
Actually, Elizabeth, can you step back? Has the scope included the trail on either side from the beginning? I think it did, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So tonight, what you're looking for is a specific approval for that loss of the parking spaces in the parking lot, correct?
Yes, to be able to get to the 25%
Well, the
design
public
period.
hearings that we had to date, because I've been to every single one of them because I live near here, I don't remember seeing anything about the trail. So that's the first time the public will see that will be in the summer, late summer. Just to be clear.
You know, the focus was on the bridge, I recall, because I went to
Right.
those
It
too.
was all
It
about
wasn't
the
as
bridge. It
much
wasn't
about
about
the
the-
trails,
it
but,
wasn't at all about the
but
trail.
we knew it had to be accessed,
You had
right?
to
And
get
we
to
knew
the
it was
tra-
going
you
to
had to get to the
connect.
bridge from
So,
We
in
yeah.
some way.
But
I
mean,
guess I feel a little bit
I
like,
think what I knew is that the trail was entering into the parking lot, but it
Yeah.
wasn't clear how it was going to
Someplace.
get
exactly.
the
Yep.
details.
So
This is-
tonight we're really
This is the
talking about
detail of
that.
the parking
Right.
lot
Okay,
Right,
okay.
area.
okay.
So you're way ahead of us.
Well, so every presentation, as Paul stated, has always been, the design of the bridge and the trail. And the conversation was, how the trail on each end would end at a public way. And at that point in time, we did not know how the terminus coming off the bridge, where it was going to land. And then from there, they looked at those conceptual option 1, option 2 to get across the parking lot. Because there's no other way to get to the Bruce Freeman Rail Trail without going through the parking lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's when they came
Okay.
up with those options.
Okay,
But
fine.
Elizabeth,
Okay.
you're asking us tonight to basically weigh in on the next to the last slide, which is really,
Right.
I don't know, option 1A. It's not option, it's neither 1 nor 2.
Yeah.
It's a revision.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
It's like 1A because we're removing 6 spaces.
Right.
9 total.
So, right.
But 6
So-
from
so-
the options.
Yeah, so.
So,
So
Cameron.
let me try,
Yeah.
so in moving from the original design to this proposed design, we're getting rid of 6 parking spaces in order to save some trees and save moving some light poles.
Correct.
Just for balance of the equation, how many trees are we saving and how many light poles are we preventing having to move? So hey, on the one, you give up six spots, that's bad. You save how many trees, how many light poles?
I'm gonna say at a minimum, there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably 7 mature trees. And we would not have to relocate 3 poles.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's the
Because of the
good
six
side of the
spaces.
equation,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
the bad side is you
That's what
lose
you're-
6 spots, right?
that's what you're
the-
balancing,
the
right.
trade-off.
Good,
Okay.
good way to frame it.
Yeah.
So the other piece of it, which is on the slide just before it, the one that's the most messy, you're
Yeah.
also removing a detention area, and I think that these 6
But we're-
spaces that we're giving up.
they're building
are-
one.
They're building a new
It's a
detention
new,
area.
right.
So that's,
Right.
Right at the
you're
end
just
of it.
basically
An additional.
relocating some
So,
drainage.
so Dean, I don't think your mic is working. I mean,
I'm sorry, is
You
that
have
better?
to be
There
really
you go.
close.
Oh,
Yeah, you
I'm
have to
sorry,
be
I'm
really
sitting back
close.
in my chair, as I'm not supposed to. I think what we're doing fundamentally is we're saving another tree by relocating detention area into the new space that you're giving up parking. Is that, because on the prior slide,
Yeah.
you show a detention area on the right that says, take away that detention area to save other trees, and then we're developing a detention area in the area where the 6 spaces
Yeah.
are being removed. As long as, is that how I'm interpreting that correctly?
Correct. So for moving the detention basin, there's probably, I think there's one tree that would need to be removed that's currently in that landscape island.
Elizabeth,
But-
how is stormwater handled now in that area? Is there a retention area or is it just
I don't-
surface runoff?
I don't think there is retention.
I don't think there's a.
I don't think there's a retention
No,
area
no, I
there.
don't
There's
think
not,
so.
it's
No,
just
I don't think
surface
so.
runoff.
Currently,
It's all paved.
You're right.
yeah,
There's
Yeah.
I
There's
would
no-
have to.
So none of these
I
things
would-
shown on this drawing are,
They don't exist
They
today,
don't
I don't
exist.
think.
Exactly.
okay.
This was the
It's
original
on a drawing.
design, right?
So Cameron, add that to the improvement side.
We've added a retention.
Yeah, I think we have them under both, yeah, maybe. It says something about improved stormwater management. I don't know if it's better
Well,
depending
yeah.
on the scenario, but, yeah.
On this particular change, it looks like they removed 2 retention areas and built one bigger one. Or at least that's what I'm doing.
Yes, actually, I think it's, two
Two are
larger detention areas get,
Removed.
where the larger trees are located, would be removed, and the new detention area would be built.
All right,
Yep.
okay.
No, they don't exist, but they were part of option, this is.
Right, it's
this is
it's going
option-
from
Okay.
option 1
This
to
is
the
option
revision.
one.
Those are
Right.
planned retention areas.
Those
that
are,
now we
these were
don't need.
planned into option 1.
Okay.
And we're revising
We're
option.
slowly
This is-
figuring it out, Elizabeth.
Yes, so, Mary, one more comment?
One more thing. Elizabeth, can you give us an update on what are the next steps for this? If we approve this tonight, and then we have the hearing in late summer, can you give us what you think would be the timeline going forward?
Yes.
For the whole
So
approval?
So I do think, so on the, yes, so on the project website, the last updated timeline is from June 4th of last year. And if you look at that, don't be afraid.
2030.
It is Mass DOT's required timeline for every element of every phase of the project. But right now, if the board does move forward and support, we're going to say option 1A, then the consultant team will move forward with finalizing the 25% design for the parking lots and submit that to Mass DOT. Mass DOT, whenever you submit plans, they have 90 days in which to provide comments. because Mass DOT was at the site visit and is aware of these changes, they do feel that it can be reviewed much faster so that we can stick to the time frame of having a design public hearing in late summer, early fall. Once the design public hearing happens, there's another 90 days of comment from Mass DOT. And then the consultant team moves forward with 75% design plans. But what I've told this like at the Transportation Advisory Committee meeting and a couple other meetings, to get to the 25% design public hearing, the consultant has done probably 60% of the work for the engineering and structural requirements for Mass DOT. So 75% design public hearing would be that's 26, next year. And then after that, there's another public hearing, there's another comment period. Then the consultant team goes to Mass DOT's 100% design public hearing. And during that period of time, we do all of the environmental permitting. There'll be federal permits, Army Corps permits, every type of permit you can think of to do this project. And then it will go through the permitting phase. So the expectation is that the earliest that construction could happen from a design and permitting phase is 2029. But right now, we're still waiting to get programmed in the TIP for a specific funding year, which it'll go through a funding programming hopefully next year after our 25% design. Then they usually program it for a year. I'm guessing it'll be programmed for federal fiscal year of 2030 or 2031.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll keep 2030 and get touch base every year.
There's a lot going on in town in 2030
I know.
or 2031.
No kidding.
I know.
No kidding.
Okay, let me just ask the public, are there any additional questions on this presentation or discussions? I'm not seeing any raised hands. We've had our comments. Anybody else
So
there?
just specifically, so
Yeah.
we're probably being asked to approve, I want to refer to the slides here, so it's, I call it 1A, but it's really preferred option 1.
The slides.
With the 6 parking spaces removed, as indicated on the, we don't have one drawing that has everything on it.
You're right.
No, not yet.
No,
I think we're only being asked to support removing the 6 parking spaces.
right. I think it's, you're asking us, Elizabeth, about what's on slide 9, the anticipated impacts that show the loss of the 6 parking spots,
Yes.
right? So I'm
Yeah.
not exactly sure what the motion.
Yeah, well, I mean, the motion to me would be to support the removal of up to 6 parking spaces from the original design, which would bring the total from 239 spaces currently down to 233 spaces, or 230 spaces.
30, 30.
Yep.
yeah.
From
But there-
239 to 230, 239 current to 230 total.
But there is no original design. The original
Well-
design is option 1.
The original spaces.
Right.
Yes.
That's what we're referring to. That's the
Yes.
quote-unquote original.
Yes.
The preferred option without the 6 parking spaces. Just want to be specific what
Right.
we're approving here.
Yes.
Correct.
It's like a modification to option 1, right? So,
Option 1 modified,
yeah,
also known as 1A.
okay.
Okay, so I'm going to try a motion. I'm going to make a motion to support the removal of up to 6 parking spaces from the presented option 1, which would bring the total from 239 existing spaces to 230 total spaces
Sorry.
in the West Concord commuter rail parking lot to accommodate the construction of the Assabet River multi-use bridge and trail project.
Good.
Is there a second? Second by Mary. Enough discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll
Have a
look
good
forward,
night.
we'll look forward to the public hearing. That'll be next.
Thank you.
All right. All right, well, guess what? We're 10 minutes ahead of schedule. Can you believe it? Except for, oh, now we have a hand raised. Oh, is that Steve? No. It is Steve
Yes.
Duprin. Steve.
Yes, hi. Thank you for allowing me. So this summer, I just want to make a comment about the MBTA lot. You will see that we're doing some repaving, and that's because the parcel owned by the town, the pavement is short, and we're doing some paving. It's not a real deep mill and pave, it's a thin one, but that is to give us some time between now and when Elizabeth's project starts up in 4 to 5 years. So I don't want there to be any confusion that the project has started this summer, or have a question, why are we doing that if a big project is coming down the road? But the pavement is beyond routine maintenance, and that's why we're going to go forward and do some of the maintenance paving this year.
Great. Thank you, Steve, because you know somebody will ask that question for sure. So thank you. So we have, it'll last until at least 2030, we're hoping. Okay. With that, I think we're moving on to our final agenda, well, not final, our next agenda item, which is the 40 Stowe Street Wireless Infrastructure Project. So Megan.
Thank you. Megan Smudo, Deputy Town Manager. In your packet this evening, you have 3 documents from me. One is a summary memo. The second is an RF report that was recently generated by Verizon. And third is the lease between the town of Concord and Verizon for infrastructure to be located in 40 Stowe Street in Concord. So I'm just going to walk through the memo, and then I do have some guests here. We have the town's wireless consultant, Ivan. I don't know if I've ever said your last name out loud. Pagachik.
Close enough.
From IDK Consulting in the room this evening, and we also have a number of folks from Verizon online, and Chip Fredette is our main point of contact there. But as you can see in the memo, we have been working at this location for quite some time. There was a previous effort in 2017, but our most recent efforts really picked up again in 2024. We have had 2 procurement processes, several site visits, design reviews, lease negotiations in the last few years in service of the town's goal of improving cell service in Concord Center. So following our initial procurement in 2024, which did not result in an award, we did learn a lot through that, and we kind of were working with the umbrella folks and leadership and their executive committee and facilities committee to work to put together a second RFP. So in 2025, the town issued a second request for proposals, and Verizon Wireless was selected through our competitive procurement process. Since then, the project team has advanced the project through design development and lease negotiations. And as of this evening before you today, all lease terms have been agreed upon. And the project is really ready to proceed into permitting and implementation. So for next steps, there's always questions on that. We will be looking to execute the lease agreement between the town of Concord and Verizon. And after that, then we'll go through local permitting. So that's going to be the Zoning Board of Appeals and Planning Board for site plan review, the special permit for Zoning Board of Appeals and site plan review for Planning Board. There's a number of additional requirements, as kind of Elizabeth mentioned on the previous project. We're looking at state and federal regulatory reviews, environmental, historic resource reviews, and then we'll come down to construction permits, so building and electrical permits. The schedule that we're on right now, and we'll hear more from Chip, I think, in a few minutes, but we're hoping, the real question is, when is service going to improve? And I think they're hoping to begin to install equipment in summer 2027. So what I'm bringing this to you this evening, as it's significant goal of the select board and has been for the last few years. So it's an update on this project. This is, I think we've come before the board a few times when we first awarded the RFP and when we were working on it a few years ago. So the request here is for support in advancing this wireless infrastructure project at 40 Stowe Street, which is including the execution of the proposed lease agreement between the town of Concord and Verizon Wireless. I'm happy to answer any questions, and I mentioned we have some of the experts online and in the room if you have specific questions.
Great. Thank you, Megan. I have a few questions, but I'm actually going to go around to each board member and ask if they have questions. I'll start over there with Dean.
Okay, so my
With the
my
mic
questions
next
are real fundamental. In looking at the RF report, I see that we're contracting with them for 4G services, and I don't see any mention of 5G service, and 4G is like a 12-year-old, 13-year-old technology, and you're
yes.
putting a critical piece of infrastructure in town, and we're not putting in great stuff. That's just my question.
I've just the mic. If you, I recognize Ivan to respond to that. Just you have to keep the mic really close to your mouth.
Yep,
That's
okay.
the only trick.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Could you just respond to that?
Sure. Yeah. No.
4G, 5G?
There is a plan for 5G
Yep.
At the location.
There is.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's not mentioned in the paperwork.
It is.
It is.
It is in there. I read it.
Okay. I
have a
saw
question.
700 megahertz.
Yeah.
And then I saw 2100 megahertz.
Right. Yeah.
LTE coverage. I did not see 5G, but maybe I'm missing something. Okay, I'll look at it again. I'm
Yep.
sorry. That's fine. I saw the word 5G at the very tail end of the document. The undertaking of this build-out for 4G LTE and 5G NR service. In the summary, it says that, but I did not see the 5G piece in the detail. But I'll look at it again.
So maybe we could just nip that. So the question I had, the 700 megahertz, does that cover both the 500, the 4G and 5G expected service?
So yeah, the LTE does
sorry.
cover that. Yeah, the lower band, the higher band, they have 5G as part of that. That's they're building out their licensed frequency bands, all their bands that they have at the site.
Okay, so in these graphs, there was a 700
Yep.
megahertz, and then there was a 2100 megahertz. I
Right.
don't think I understand completely the difference between the two, and I was wondering whether the 700 was the 4G and 5G, and then the reference to the 2100 was sort of foundational infrastructure. Maybe you could just clarify the differences
Yeah. So the
there.
700 is their LTE national band that they build out on. It's
Okay.
lower frequency. It propagates further than the 2100, which doesn't propagate as far. But the 5G gives you more bandwidth. 4G LTE actually, still has significant bandwidth. It's they've ended their 3G. If you remember 3G,
Yep.
they've ended that. And LTE was a major upgrade in their bandwidth capacity.
Okay.
So the combination of the two allows them to,
Support both.
when you're in the 2100 coverage area,
Mm-hmm.
you can, they'll utilize that bandwidth and allow more users on the 700, which gives you a further range.
Yeah.
So it kind of optimizes
Okay.
how they work with their subscribers.
Okay. Paul?
Kind of in plain language, can you say something about the actual range, the anticipated range? Because you talk about the gaps here, but
Yeah.
just what kind of range are we looking at?
So this site was going to saturate the downtown area and fill in the gaps in the downtown area and provide better coverage in buildings that you don't have today. I spoke when you had the celebration last year. I believe Verizon had a temporary structure. That gives you a sense of what you're going to get for coverage. Although this site at Stowe is higher, it's better. So you're going to get that level of coverage, if not more, than what you experienced last year.
Will extend to the high school?
No, the high school, there's another site that's planned, planned for that. Yeah.
I'm wondering about the overlap.
Yeah, no, it's...
This isn't that far from the high school.
It's not, it's, you know what it is? It's the building penetration is the key. And I think that's, the other site has better penetration into the high school from what we've seen with Verizon and their plans to utilize. They have to design the sites to have handoff as well. When one site, the signal level drops to a certain level, another site has to pick it up in your cell phone hands off without you knowing it, but it goes from one site to another site automatically. So they'll optimize that, but this site is not, this site is for downtown, this area down here.
So Megan, is Verizon one of the carriers interested in the landfill side? Is it?
Yeah. They are interested in that site.
Yeah, I mean, in looking at the maps,
Yeah.
it sort of hits the edge
Yeah,
of
it's
the
on
high
there.
school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of there.
No,
but not quite.
I'm just wondering how much overlap there'd be.
Yeah, yeah, and really it's that in-building that's the critical piece of it.
So one of the questions I had on the graph was you identified the landfill site, the planned site. When you did your graphics, did you anticipate coverage for the landfill site itself in that graphic?
Oh, just to clarify, this
Yeah.
this report was not created by Ivan.
Oh,
it was
okay.
created
Yeah.
by
All right.
Verizon, and we do have Chip
okay.
on the call who can kind of
I'm
speak
sorry,
to.
I'm thinking like-
well, he is,
Yeah.
you know, kind of responding.
Yep.
Ivan's responding from the town's perspective of
Yep.
what is this coverage going to mean for us.
Yep.
So that's a valuable voice, but. I don't know if you want to
Yeah,
ask
no,
that question again to.
If I could.
to
So
Chip, yeah.
on one of these, I don't know what page it is, I can't see. In one of the graphics for the 700 megahertz coverage with the new proposed site, it recognizes the landfill site as being proposed. And so when we looked at the coverage map, I just didn't know, did you anticipate what the coverage would be with that planned site operational, or is this purely just the downtown active site? That's the
Thank you.
question.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Again, Chip Fredette here on behalf of Verizon Wireless. Ivan, excellent job so far working on our behalf here. I'm not sharing my screen right now, but I am looking at the attachment A in Keith
Yeah.
Valente's report. So this is
Yep.
I think this is the map to which you were referring for 700.
Yep.
It does in fact contemplate the Concord 6 planned site
Okay.
being on air. So it's if you're looking at the Concord 6 planned site, the antenna icons
Yep.
are shaded gray,
Yep.
i.e. planned site, but yet Keith was sure to include the mapped footprint from that when showing the Concord 5 proposed project. So when you flip to the next page,
Yep.
showing
That's the
the
question.
aggregate of 700,
Yep.
it shows healthy overlap of the green
Yep.
from Concord 5 with the green from Concord 6, if that helps.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
So can I just want to stop for a sec. Concord 5 and 6. So Concord 5 is Concord Center. This Concord, the proposed, Concord 6, it is that 6.
That's
I
a
couldn't see
landfill.
it, sorry.
Yeah.
So but it anticipates that Concord 6
Yes.
is live.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So people, just be clear, we need both of these to get that coverage.
It's the
Just
jigsaw
to be
puzzle.
clear. Yeah.
Right,
Yep,
two
no, got it.
pieces, yep.
Thank you for that clarification.
Yes.
Great. Mary?
Yeah, I do have a
Questions?
quick
Yeah.
question. Actually, this is a question for Megan about our cell strategy in general. I've gotten questions from citizens around small cell as an alternative, and I'm wondering if we've considered that and why or why not.
Oh, sure. We certainly have. This board, or the select board in 2022, created the small cell policy. And we have, the board approved a small cell application for AT&T that is going into 2 locations in Concord Center. I believe one is already up and the other one should be going up, if it hasn't already, any minute. So we certainly are supportive of that infrastructure in town. I'll say it works best when there is already a signal and it is kind of a supplemental signal, and it is not as helpful in areas where there are significant gaps. And I think, Ivan, if I said that right,
No,
I don't know if you
you're
have anything
absolutely
to add.
right. It's like a macro approach
Yep.
from the wider areas,
And then a fill-in.
Yep.
and then a fill-in that, again, back to that capacity. When you have those small cells, you'll latch on to that, and you won't be taking capacity from the macro site, which now you save that capacity for other users that aren't in a targeted area.
So can you actually just help? Because I've heard this question also.
Right.
If we didn't have this antenna, would small cell work in Concord Center? Because we don't have a big antenna nearby. Would it even
right.
work?
And that's the problem is
Right.
that the small cell, the other carriers have that
Have the big-
coverage.
yeah.
T-Mobile is
Yeah,
right
right next to us.
right
I know,
next to
right?
us, and you know, they could certainly do some small cell if they wanted to.
Yep.
Again, they target areas where
Gaps.
the population is, so that you're not tying up the bandwidth
Yep.
in the big cell.
Yep.
But as a
So-
corollary to that, once the antenna's in the umbrella, adding small cell to that signal could really extend it.
If we need it,
beyond-
yeah.
If we
Yeah.
need it at
Yeah.
that point,
When-
because the umbrella doesn't cover everything.
Yeah.
So there'll still be gaps. The small cell could really fill in those gaps. So
Yeah.
you don't need another big antenna.
Yeah, no.
If
Right.
you don't mind, one thing to add, I think, just to answer your question, like it is part of our strategy, certainly.
Right.
And I think, I guess, 2 components when we think about small cell that are factors are, we do typically put them on telephone poles,
Yeah.
and we have less and less of those, right?
Especially in the Concord Center.
So that's one piece. And we also need to kind of meet what the market is interested in building. So I don't know if that's something that Chip would weigh in on, but there has to be a synergy into what the town wants to do and what is attractive from a market standpoint.
I'm seeing as I-
It's exciting.
Yeah, no, it is.
Okay.
I guess to that point, I do see on the coverage map, and I'm looking at the 700 megahertz one, there are some yellow spots, big areas of yellow on this coverage that might be, maybe that's a small cell kind of option. So maybe that's a question to Verizon. Is that something that might be needed in the future, in the more near-term future, to cover some of those spots? And it looks like it's Elm Street. Is it Elm Street? Area, near Nimrod. Yeah, it's Elm Street area. Or maybe we can follow up on that. I just don't know if that, we would anticipate that.
Chip, do you have anything to add on Verizon's take on small cell lately?
No, I think the way that Ivan described it and you summarized it was good, that small cells are great to provide a very finite area with coverage, a beachfront, a boardwalk, perhaps multiple small cell deployments in a stadium. They don't do well to provide the area, the community with that macro level, which is why we need this macro site at the elevation that we're proposing here. It may be that in the future, should Concord 5 not suffice in terms of capacity, that small cells might be a solution to pick up foot traffic, if you will, in the downtown area.
Yeah, it just augments the signal. It doesn't
Right.
replace it.
It's like a booster.
For your next celebration, you know?
Next celebration. But it could obviate the need for major towers.
Oh,
elsewhere,
absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't totally, but
Right.
it's part of the.
Not having the telephone poles is a little bit of a drawback, because they do like to mount on telephone poles, but there's building rooftops, there's other ways to handle small cell.
Right. And Jason has told me many times we have a dearth of poles to put small cell on, so it's not like
Okay.
Our undergrounding policy doesn't help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cameron, do you have any questions as it relates to this?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. I'm good.
All right. Megan, I had another question, and this was more around the lease as I read through it. So in terms of that electric service that might be required, does this require separate metering, or how does that going to work with the umbrella?
That is a good question, and that is something that came up at our most recent site visits.
Oh.
And it is. I'm gonna ask Chip to explain it because it is common for Verizon to be hosted in other buildings that are operated with their own with utilities, and they have kind of a standard protocol which they have been in touch with Umbrella leadership about, and we discussed at length. So Chip, would you mind taking that one?
Happy to. Yeah. So in this configuration, we understand that we'll need to be sub-metered from Umbrella.
Okay.
So we typically prefer to be primary metered, but in this case here, it's not possible. So with that, we will establish an agreement with Umbrella whereby our consumption will be read remotely, and we will directly reimburse Umbrella. So the town of Concord won't be involved at all.
Oh, interesting.
Monthly.
All right.
Monthly, by the way.
Monthly.
Yeah, monthly.
Okay.
Yep.
Makes sense.
And Megan, the
Okay.
supporting equipment for the umbrella site, where does that sit on the site? I saw a map somewhere. But
Sure. There's going to be antenna equipment up in the cupola.
yeah.
And then there's also going to be additional equipment on the roof in the back on the loading dock.
So it's all on the roof.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in the parking lot. Okay.
Correct. That was something we explored.
Yeah.
But the site is tight, and that it wasn't possible to make that happen.
That's
So
good.
we found another location, and we have been working on how it's going to be screened, which is a critical component to make sure that it is not obvious to that equipment's up there.
Is the umbrella in the historic district?
They are not.
They're not.
Yeah.
So replacing the windows in the cupola is a non-issue. Doesn't go through them. Doesn't
I
go
don't
through the HDC.
Still a site plan review.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it will be. There will be
Lots of
significant review.
Yeah.
Right.
But it will not be of the HDC.
They're not the
Yeah.
HDC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. No other questions? No? All right, so can I ask whether there are, I see a hand raised and I can't read that far away. I'm sorry. It's Don Kupka. So Don Kupka, you have a comment? Sorry.
Yes, hi. Don Kupka, 39 Devon Street. I'm speaking on my own behalf tonight, although I am a member of a committee, strictly on my own behalf. First, I'd say I'm participating from an island that's served only by small cell. So I just want to correct the impression that small cell is only a booster to a tower. It's simply a low-powered version of a macro cell antenna, and therefore has a smaller coverage area. But as long as there's proper backhaul, there's no requirement that there be an antenna. I mean, a tower. Secondly, I want to say that the Verizon's proposal in response to our RFP stated the antenna would be 100 feet in the air. And I was relieved by that because that would put it a good 50 feet above the tallest abutting residential building. And per the FCC's Consumer Guide to Safety, that distance of at least 50 to 200 feet, they say, above the point of measurement is required in order to rely on their data. In the next iteration, it was noted the antenna would be at 85 feet, not 100. And in this current packet, I see it's now down to 72 feet. So with that, that raises two questions. One is, how do we know that the RF radiation in the abutting residential building, which is called the Emerson Annex, will not be an issue for the residents? And then secondly, do the coverage maps reflect the fact that the antenna is 28 feet lower than originally proposed? My third comment, and then I'll be quiet, is I did quickly look at the contract, and I don't see any provision for what happens if the antenna is not permitted. It doesn't seem as though Verizon has an out, or the town, in the event that the permit is not issued. So that may be a minor but technical legal comment. Thank you.
Thanks, Don. I can't see the rest of the, okay. And then I see a question from Henry Dane. Henry? Can unmute?
Hello?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you,
thank
Henry. Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm very happy with the progress that's been made on this project. And I think I want to congratulate the town staff for getting it to this point. My question has to do with the fact that a year ago at the town meeting, I made a proposal to amend the cellular bylaw, which failed by a vote or two. And then the planning boards took a year coming up with a totally revised cellular bylaw, which also failed by a vote or two. And which means that the bylaw that's in effect now is the same one as before these efforts, which is still based on the 2019 plan that does not permit cellular transmission facilities in this particular location. So I wonder whether we are going to go back to the town meeting again in this spring to try and amend the bylaw again, or how we're going to deal with the fact that you have a bylaw that doesn't permit this facility in this location.
Thank you, Henry. Megan, do you want to address
Sure.
that?
Our town council has advised us that we can locate an antenna in this location.
Yep. I think there's provisions, if we have a significant gap and we can prove it, then we have to, by right, allow access for this, if I'm not mistaken. So, thank you. Is there anyone in the room? Gail, higher? Yeah, yes, you, make sure it's on, and then you just got to be close.
Hi, I'm Gail Heyer, 54 Nancy Road. Is this coming through?
Yeah, I think it, we can't hear,
There's-
but if it's green,
okay,
it's
there's
on.
a green light and
It's
I'm
on, yeah.
close. Okay. So I have some concerns about the process that's being followed here tonight, which I understand is a vote of support. I'm wondering what would be the legal significance of a vote of support by the select board. I think the update is great. I'm sure, I know I really appreciate having the town's RF consultant here and Verizon here to answer questions, because it seems like the process has gone forward kind of behind closed doors, not as much public involvement as I know a lot of people would like. But the vote of support was a little concerning to me and some other folks that I spoke with this afternoon. So I understand that the board does need to approve the lease, and I think that's going to happen in the future. I'm not sure if that's happening tonight. It sounded like maybe it's not. But the permitting process, as Mr. Dane noted, is conducted by other boards, and the select board can't guarantee that permits will be issued. So I'm not really sure what the significance is. These boards have independent authority, and they must follow the laws irrespective of what this board votes. So secondly, I was surprised that the proposed lease has no out for either party if permits are not granted within a year, or if permits are appealed and take longer than 1 year to be issued, to protect the town in case permits take longer than a year, and also to protect the applicant so that they don't have to start paying rent when they don't yet have the permits. I think the proposed lease needs improvement. Another concern about the lease is it says nothing about noise, such as from temporary power sources, and the protection of the neighboring residents from sounds caused by the industrial use. That I quickly read the lease, and it just mentioned the umbrella, the tenants, and the town. It didn't mention the residents, which are all very close, and I know they're concerned about noise from the perhaps generators or whatever equipment is going to be attached to the building. So I think that I hope that the lease will be revised before it comes back to this board for approval.
Thank you, Gail, for your comments. I know there'll be many reviews to this process going forward, and some of them will probably be addressed through those reviews. But Megan, do you want to comment?
I just want to clarify that the select board is not approving the lease this evening. The authority to sign the lease is with the town manager. And
That's it.
I
Carrie.
think just to address why is this in front of the select board, Megan did mention that, obviously this is a select board goal. I think the second thing is, if you think back to 2017, 2018, we went down this path and the project was stopped by the then select board. So
Correct.
we just want to make sure, I think we understand that this board is supportive of this, but we wanted to make sure that that the board continues to be supportive before we move the project any further along.
Thank you, Carrie, for clarifying that. And I think we all are still in support for this and appreciate the very thorough presentation, Megan, that you and your team have put together. It's been very informative and helpful, so I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
So do we need a motion?
We do have, what we asked for was a motion of support to continue the process of approvals. So Megan will usher this through the next round of approvals. So I think we do want to vote in support. It is our goal this year to move wireless coverage along. So I think it's very important and a prudent thing for us to do, to vote in support of moving the project forward.
I just want to add, the public should appreciate the immense amount of work that goes into even getting to this point
Yeah.
with the vendor and the site and everything else,
Yeah.
with the public, so.
So we want a motion around support for the project. It also says here, as drafted, is a motion to express support and the proposed lease agreement. They're almost.
Are we supporting the lease agreement, or are we approving the lease agreement? I don't think we're
Yeah,
approving.
well, that's what I'm saying.
We're not, we're
I wanna be
supporting the
careful.
lease agreement.
We're supporting.
We're supporting.
But are we supporting all? Is it still to be negotiated? I mean, the lease agreement.
The
is
lease
this-
terms have been agreed to.
Right, but is what was presented to us, is that the proposed final copy that like someone's gonna sign?
Well,
when?
I
Or
did
is that
hear
still,
some.
hey, there's still some,
Yeah, Megan.
hey, people ask some questions, there's still some stuff, we could go back on the lease. So
Right.
I don't want to necessarily
Right.
support the lease. I want to know what I'm supporting.
So,
Well, I heard some questions this
Yep.
evening that I think are worth running by our town council. So
Sure.
I think I will do that after
Yeah.
this
Sure.
evening. Nothing major, but I think
That's-
there were a few things that were brought up that I think
Yeah,
is
that's
a good
fine.
thing to
So
look into.
I'm going to suggest, at least for me personally, I would definitely want to express support for the project. I'm not sure I want to say, until we have a
Yes,
final lease, I'm not sure what to say about the lease. Like,
Sure, it might not come
the
back.
concept of like going forward and continuing to work on the lease is
But I
great.
think we could
So-
move forward supporting a lease agreement. I mean, we just
Yes,
want to
I agree.
Put some oomph behind that.
Yes.
Move
Right.
forward on the lease agreement, not this one, but a lease agreement.
do you want to modify that?
So I'm going to make a
Okay.
motion to express the select board's support for the Verizon Wireless Infrastructure Project at 40 Stowe Street, including development of a lease agreement between the town of Concord and Verizon Wireless.
Is there a
Very good.
Second?
Second.
Yeah.
Second by Dean. Any more discussion? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Megan. A lot of hard work.
Yes.
8:30, okay. Next agenda item are select board liaison reports. I put a very brief one in, but, it was a
Me
short
too.
week. It was July 4th. I don't know what,
put a very-
if others have
very short one.
updates from different meetings.
I just have one thing, it's a reminder, the Transportation Advisory Committee meeting tomorrow, the Lowell Regional Transit Authority is going to talk with us about a concept of putting regional bus service in town, and potentially having Concord join the Lowell Transit Authority.
Yep.
Come on, so it's not a specific route or routes, but it's a good step forward, so
Yep.
I think TAC's going to listen to what they have to say.
And the thing I want to bring up is the Warner's Pond Management Committee.
Oh, okay.
They held I think it was a 12 or 15-person stakeholder meeting where they
Oh, really?
collected every possible stakeholder who might have an
Yeah.
interest in Warner's Pond.
Yeah.
And gave everybody the floor for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
What are your interests in the pond? And they are in the process of they approved finalization of an RFP that's going to go out to find a consultant to do a pond management study and get going with.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
great.
Oh, nice.
so that's good news.
That's really good.
Yeah.
news. That's really
That's
good.
great.
I would just
Great.
add that the Historic District Commission is having a site visit and a meeting this Wednesday
Wednesday.
night on the Black Heritage Trail markers.
So there's actually a site visit, 8 o'clock
8 o'clock.
on Wednesday
There's a
morning.
site
yes.
8 o'clock in the morning, I
And
think.
it's at,
8 o'clock in the morning.
it's out here in front of Monument Square.
And then a meeting that,
Yes.
Evening.
That, it's 7,
okay,
right.
so, double duty.
I'll be at the light board.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Okay.
Anything else? Any other updates? No? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, we're adjourned.